The off season is here because teams can now franchise tag players. And that led to me asking myself which players on the Jets could get franchise tagged, and will we even franchise tag anyone at all? The Jets have a lot of work for them cut out in the offseason, but if we're talking about the franchise tag, there are only a few players that I think realistically could get franchise tagged, and I'm going to name 3 potential players that, if at all, because spoiler alert, I don't think we're going to franchise tag anyone at all, because the players that are in contention to get tagged, they're good players, but they're not great, and they're not worth the money that they would be getting paid under the franchise tag. And since we know Joe Douglas, he likes to spend his money where it matters. He does not want to overpay, and I think the franchise tag would be an overpay for all of these players. So that is that's basically my main take, but I will list 3 players just in case who I think could get franchise tagged on the New York Jets. The first player is actually Foley Fatukasi. It wasn't even a Joe Douglas draft pick, but Foley Fatukasi has been one of the more underrated Jets in the past 3 years, in my opinion. Since 2019, he's been actually pretty damn good. Put a little graphic right here. He's very good at stopping the run, and although we had the last ranked run defense last year, he was not the problem. I can guarantee you that. I made videos on it before, but anyways, the Foley Fatukasi, he's elite at stopping the run. He has a high win rate. He's a big dude. Now, there is the argument that maybe he fits more in a 3-4 type of defense, and that could easily be true as a nose. But he still produced under the 4-3, and he's still a productive player. Listen, our run defense is already bad enough. If we let our best run defender go, Joe Douglas has a shitload of work and a lot more pressure on his shoulders if he lets Foley Fatukasi walk. And he said he's going to test the free agent market. So that's why I put him as number 1, because he is the most likely to want to leave. So for that, if Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and co. are like, we love Foley Fatukasi, we want him for 1 more year, and we're going to franchise tag him, it would cost, or the projection is $16.9 million would be paid to Foley Fatukasi. Now, I think that is extremely much for him. I'd pay him around $8 million a year, I'm going to be honest, and that is about double it, so I don't think it's worth it. But if there is any player that deserves to be franchise tagged for the amount of money that they'll get paid under the tag, Foley Fatukasi is definitely that player. Alright, so the second player is fan favorite Braxton Berrios. I've loved this guy since 2019. I don't know why. I've always kind of made a meme out of him, but he actually decided to kind of really develop this year very nicely when a lot of our receivers were hurt. But anyways, on to him in the tag. The reason why I think he is a potential player if Joe Douglas at all uses the franchise tag is because of his versatility. And what I mean by that is he contributes on special teams a lot as a kick returner. He was first team All-Pro for a reason. He's very good. Whenever kickers do not get touchbacks and they kick it inbound still, Braxton Berrios is one of the best at taking it back and setting us up with good field position, which is actually very important, especially if you want to uplift your rookie quarterback. You want all parts of the team to go help him. But he also emerged as a nice receiver and gadget guy too. We saw him get a lot of end arounds. Hell, there was a designed pass for him, and he had the heads-up IQ play to go run it in instead. Sorry, that was a little bit of a tongue twister, but that's his main attractiveness, and he also has chemistry with Zach Wilson. And this is the main argument for bringing him back, is Zach Wilson trusts him. Why would we let a weapon who he likes walk in free agency? And he's going to want to command the most money possible. So if Joe Douglas and co., if Mike LaFleur has some plans for him still, even with Elijah Moore coming back, which I think would not be a bad idea because I want to see Elijah Moore running routes rather than taking end-around plays and potentially getting hurt. But he could have something in line for Braxton Berrios in a more enhanced role next season. And he can only get better, too. He's still relatively young. I mean, Fatukasi is like 27, 28. Berrios is like, I want to say 25, maybe 26. He's young. And there's a lot to work with still. Now, the kick in the head is if we were to franchise tag Braxton Berrios, he would be getting paid $19.1 million. Listen, I love him, but no chance is he worth that. Absolutely not. I mean, people are already arguing whether or not $6 million a year is an overpay for him. So that is more than 3 times that amount. So this would upset a lot of fans, and it would be a gross overpay. But if Joe Douglas and Mike LaFleur see a lot of value in him, think he'll get better, then they could tag him. I think he's probably the second most realistic candidate, but it's definitely because the franchise tag number is so high. If only there was one for returners that was maybe at 7 mil, I think that would be done in a heartbeat, but there's no tag for special teamers besides kickers and punters. And the last player that I think potentially could get franchise tagged is a special teamer by the name of Eddie Piñeiro. And ever since Joe Douglas got to the Jets, there has been a glaring issue on the team, and that is kicker. He has not been able to figure that out. That is arguably my biggest knock on Joe Douglas, is not getting a reliable kicker in here, which is odd considering he was with the Ravens for a long time. They Justin Tucker, the Eagles had Jake Elliott, they have good kickers. So that's a little bit of a doozy for me. But anyways, Eddie Piñeiro came on last season, man. He was nailing field goals because we had a problem with Matt Amendola. He was not doing a good job, so Joe Douglas went ahead, signed Eddie Piñeiro. He won the job, obviously. And then he pretty much nailed a lot of field goals. I want to say he missed maybe like 2 at most. But the thing is, kickers can really, really make or break your team, because if you're losing and you need a field goal to either tie up the game or go win the game, if the offense orchestrates a last-minute drive, it lies on the kicker, not the rest of the players. So the kicker is very important, and that's why I think Piñeiro could be an option, and his franchise tag is only $5.5 million, so that's not that much money at all. I think Joe Douglas could easily bite the bullet and franchise tag him. It's not really a big deal. It's not like they're paying $19 million like they would if they were to tag Berrios. So if Joe Douglas doesn't find an answer in free agency or in the draft, then he can tag Piñeiro, because he's going to try and make the most money he can. And for whatever reason, he may want to leave New York. He may have a better contract offer. You never know. So the franchise tag is an option on him, and that is the probably most realistic candidate out there possible. And even at that, it's not very realistic. So I don't think that we'll franchise tag anyone this year. It's not in our cards. We're not tagging May because A, we already tagged him last year, so his price would go up even more. And B, he's also coming off a major injury. So that is all I have. I don't think we'll franchise tag anyone, and that's pretty much it. So let me know what you guys think about this, about these players maybe. Do you think there's any shot? Do you think there's no shot at all? You agree? You would disagree with me? Do you have a player that maybe I left off the list? Maybe Jamison Crowder? But other than that, let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one.